Another 10 questions on your PMI-ACP exam preparation and focusing on embracing the agile mindset. We are still in the mindset domain. So let's start with question number 41. Your organization is transitioning from a traditional project management approach to agile. As a part of the transition, you are asked to explain the key difference between a traditional project manager and agile project manager when it comes to planning. Which of the following statement best highlights this difference? So here we are focusing on which of the following represent good practices of agile planning. Yeah. Now you may not be knowing what is traditional project manager role. Yeah, probably you have only studied agile. Still, you will be able to answer it when you know that agile facilitator, leader, project manager should behave like this. So that will be a easy pick. Option A traditional project manager creates a detailed upfront plan. Maybe, yeah. If you know what the project managers are expected to do, you can say yes. While an agile project manager creates a detailed iterative plan for the entire project. So we can say, yeah, we prepare iterative plan. It could be detailed, yeah, incrementally detailed for the entire project. Let's see. But rather than me doing it, I don't do myself. Yeah, I do progressive, iterative elaboration with my team and stakeholder. That's the idea. Let's see option B. Both traditional and agile project managers rely on detailed planning. Okay, planning is a good idea in general. Done upfront or done progressively, that's the difference. The traditional project manager does it upfront, yeah, while the agile project manager adjusts plan iteratively. So in a way, it has a good element. Yeah, it has a good element. Only thing is, it can be made better when I say that I don't do planning. I facilitate planning. Yeah, that's the idea. But in a way, if we don't get anything else, we will go with option B. Option C, both traditional and agile project managers ensure the plan once prepared is strictly followed, actively tracking status and variance. I would say that yes, as a traditional project manager, I do focus on tracking status and variances, but in the agile way of working, we learn. The whole idea is learning from our planning, not following the plan which we once prepared. Yeah. So in the agile, learning is the primary focus. So let's go for option D. A traditional project manager develops a comprehensive upfront plan as a contract of work, okay, while an agile project manager facilitates planning in short iterative cycle focused on delivering value incrementally. That's it. Yeah. So though if I don't go till here, some of us may select the option at a B level only because it looks pretty okay. The only thing is, sometime in the options, we may not have a very clear, right, ideal answer. Yeah. So you don't look for ideal answer all the time when you are giving the PMI-ACP exam, as we know that we don't have to challenge the question itself. We need to find the best available. Sometimes the questions are not great. But in this particular case, you have a mindset that as an agile project manager, I'm a facilitator. Who does the planning? Yeah, team does the planning. Whoever is responsible for executing the plan, they are the one who are main owner of the plan, not the project manager. If I get that mindset right, I make many questions right. Question number 42. How does an agile project manager improve the productivity of the team? Yeah, so pretty much connected. Yeah. So what do you do to improve the productivity? Option A, by creating detailed plan and reinforcing strict adherence to them throughout the project life cycle. You learn it from the previous question that I am not focusing on creating the detailed plan. I am more facilitative, collaborative in nature. So we keep it aside. Option B, by assigning tasks explicitly and closely monitoring individual performance for accountability. So see, the whole idea is in the agile way of working, I as a leader is not the center of planning. I am not the center of execution. I am more like I'm in a background of planning. I'm in a background of execution. Things are happening by the team, but I am there as a facilitator supporter. So that way option B goes out. Option C, by fostering collaboration, yeah, background, makes sense. Removing impediments, yes. And empowering the team to deliver value effectively and adaptively, that's it. That's what I am expected to do as a leader. So this is having as a agile mindset clarity, and it is also showing agile leadership clarity here. Option D, by avoiding involvement in the productivity improvement as it's a solely team's responsibility in agile. So you are a leader. You are still a leader. You are not focusing on command and control. You are creating collaborative environment, but you are responsible for collaboration, empowerment, and facilitating delivery of a value. You can't say, these guys will take care. I'm just a you are in a background, but you are not sleeping. Yeah, that's the difference. So I am there, but I am not a center of attraction. I'm not in the mid of the whole thing, but I am there. That way I go with option C. If you get it, you are good for your exam. Question number 43. A project has a small cross-functional team with evolving requirements and an organization open to iterative process. Which approach is most suitable? Now, you might be wondering from where this question is coming. So, in your PMI-ACO, the Agile Mindset, here you can clearly see that you have a point talking about interpret the output of Agile Suitability tool. So, you need to understand suitability filters. If you are following PMI material, you can see that there is a good amount of 4-5 pages written about it. If not, then you need to do a little bit research. There is a website, suitability filters. You can explore that, understand how do you play with various things, and how can you possibly find out which approach is good. So you can expect questions from this area because it's a clear point in your exam content outline. So coming back to the question. So question number 43, as we learned, it's a project, has a small thing. So what do? When you know that it's a good place where you can apply Agile. Yeah, with the help of a suitability filter, if you put a small team, cross-functional and teams, the organization is also open for iterative process, it will say go for Agile. Yeah. Now that is clear. Now when you get a go for Agile, the B and C are out. Hybrid and waterfall are out. Now you need to decide Scrum versus feature-driven development. So, whenever there is a small team, Agile, by default, Agile, for a PMI-ACP exam perspective, I can pick up a Scrum. Because feature-driven development is a specific case which focuses on little large complex environment, which focuses on upfront design and modeling, and then incrementally delivery of a feature. Yeah. So those all ideas are not coming here. So this question has two things added into it. First, understanding of Agile suitability matrix, and second, little bit understanding of various Agile framework. If you have both of them, then you get the answer with ease, which is your Scrum. Yeah. So Scrum is the answer in this particular case. Question number 44. A project involves a large team with partially defined requirements and a mix of stable and evolving technological components. The organization has some agile readiness, but also relies on traditional reporting structure. Which approach is most suitable here? So again, going back to Agile Suitability tool or Agile Suitability filters, you understand in this kind of situation, your tool will talk about hybrid. If you play with that, you understand that. So I need to pick up a hybrid. That's it. Yeah, easy answer. So if the option was talking about Agile, then I may get confused. Scrum versus Scrum Ban. Yeah, that could have been a little challenge. But when the suitability filter is clearly talking about my option hybrid, my answer is very clear. Yeah. So these questions will be far easy and less tricky, provided we know the right theory and terminologies. Yeah, that's the idea for these kind of questions. Question number 45. Your team is working on a system that consists of both straightforward and complex component. As an agile practitioner, how should you approach the development of these components? Yeah. So little bit understanding of agile suitability and coming up with a tailored approach and working in the hybrid environment. Another section in your embracing agile mindset task you need to focus on. So apply a complex system-based solution to the entire system to maintain consistency across the component. So the situation is few components of the projects are straightforward and others are complex in nature. They require complex process. So option A is saying, let's apply the complex process for the whole project so it's easy. Yeah. Option A. Why to do that? Can't I have a little tailored process? That's the idea which I'm thinking. Option B, use simple solution for a straightforward component and iterative experimentation for complex part. Makes little sense because I can find out context-driven approaches. Option B, use simple solution for all the component, rely on change control process, doesn't make sense. Option D, focus solely on delivering timeline and avoiding addressing system complexities directly. Not at all a relevant thing. So if we understand that I need to apply the tailored and hybrid approaches and I need to find the right solution for my work, then my answer becomes simple, straightforward here. So I can go with option B in this particular situation. Question number 46. In a large-scale development project, 3 teams are working iteratively based on demand of the context. Okay, based on the demand of the context. However, dependencies between teams are creating coordination challenges. How can an agile practitioner best manage this situation? So you can say there are 3 pretty much independent teams, but they have a dependency which are making things complex, especially for a coordination purpose. Yeah, that's use that particular word. How should you handle that? Yeah. So option A, use clear planning for dependencies to ensure they are addressed as per the plan and create a centralized team responsible for dependency management. So say, in general, whenever we deal with agile leadership and problem solving things, we should not make dependency on individuals or team. We should not create a bottleneck in our management process. We should create a mechanism where there is a network of things. Yeah, teams, individuals can connect with each other and they can resolve their own thing rather than you make a one person or one group responsible for it. Yeah. And whenever the word planning is coming, yes, planning is there, but there has to be a continuous adaptation to the planning. We may not be able to plan the dependencies very well in advance. We can do some amount of planning, but adaptation has to be there. So that way option A goes little out. Option B, create small independent team and foster inter-team collaboration through frequent coordination and planning meetings. Looks good. Yeah. Scrum of Scrum kind of meetings, those looks good. Yeah, 3 teams are only, they can do that. Option C, focus solely on individual team deliverables and address dependency when they become critical. Easy to ignore. Option D, extend the time box duration to 10 weeks to allow dependency to be planned well in advance. So I don't have to focus on increasing my time box because there is no feedback like that. I already have a clear answer which is saying let's create more collaboration and coordination. Now somebody will say, in a scaled agile framework we use 10 weeks PI, so this way maybe it is giving hint for me to pick up that option. Now you need to be a little careful about that. First thing, in a scaled agile, you need to have a bigger agile release train, which will have 5 to 12 agile teams. And it is not that the whole thing is always need to be mapped to safe, because the question is not indicating a particular framework characteristics. So in general, in order to follow the basic agile mindset, I need to focus on creating network of team. I need to focus on continuous collaborative planning and coordination collaboration. And that way I can pick the option B. Now, if you follow the PMI content, you will see these all things as a part of stories, as a part of solution. In the content, there are case studies kind of paragraphs also, articles also. And those articles are very important. You may get questions based on those kind of situations in your exam. Yeah. So don't just ignore them. Oh, it's an unnecessary story. Let me go to the next concept. When you are preparing for your PMI-ACP exam using PMI material, do read those case studies and stories as well. Question number 47. Which of the following is not a good habit of an agile project manager? Now, in your PMI ACP content, you do have a 7 good habit of agile project manager. Now, if you read that content, it will be faster for you to answer it. But even if you don't read it, with the help of agile mindset understanding, you can answer this question. Yeah. So you need to find out what is not a good idea for an agile leader. Option A, question everything and challenge the status quo. You need to apply growth mindset. You need to focus on continuous improvement. Definitely you follow that. Looks like a good idea, even if you don't remember those 7 habits. Yeah. Option B, ensuring clear roles and responsibility among team members. Not necessarily my job. Yeah, it may look great idea for a non-agile project manager. You need to have a clear roles and responsibility. I probably let the team figure it out what they want to do. Yeah, I don't have to create a RACI matrix in the agile way of working. I see team as a team, not as a who does what. Not that much focus area. They can figure it out. They should have a clarity. They should have a clear visibility of who is doing what. But I don't necessarily do that. Let's see if we get something else. We'll come back. Communicate through thoughts and ideas openly. Yes, it's a good idea. We need to have open communication. Making small incremental changes consistently. Yes, you need to focus on incremental value delivery, continuous improvement. All these are good idea. So say if you know those 7 habits, it's far easy. But if you don't know, then still you know that overall work management is my team's responsibility. I don't have to get into RACI kind of tool. In general, in the agile way of working, for a given iteration, for a given project, team should be collaboratively finding out who does what. I don't have to ensure that. I myself doesn't. Team should ensure themselves about it. Yeah, so you get the answer. Question number 48. Which of the following is not an agile principle? Now, looks very simple. You just need to know what are those 12 agile principles, and you can find the answer. Yeah. So I wanted to introduce the question so you really start developing the understanding that yes, I need to read the 12 principles as well. Many a time you will get a question which are basically testing your behavior, which is inspired by agile principles. You may not get a direct question saying identify which one is the agile principle or not, but you can get, there is a possibility of one question coming which directly see that you are understanding, or I would say the statement level understanding of your agile principle. Rest of the mindset is definitely driven by the agile values and principle. When you have the right principles and behaviors is inspired by that, you get the questions right. So welcoming changing requirements even late in the development process, delivering working software frequently, business people, developer must work together weekly throughout the project. So you know what is happening here. If you have familiarity with agile principles, I think you know what is the trick here. You probably already see that there is a little glitch which I have done to make sure that you should be a little vigilant when you are answering these kind of questions. So business people and developers should work together daily throughout the project. That's the word, not weekly throughout the project. Yeah. So that way, you know, this is the problem statement and it is not the part of agile manifesto principle. Yeah. So that way you can ignore it. Question number 49. In adaptive software development, which of the following sequence represents the iterative process that drive value delivery and adaptation? Yeah. So again, terminology. So in the adaptive software development, there is a particular type of language you use. So rather than saying plan, do, check, act, rather than saying inspect and adapt, they use a specific terminology to represent the same thing. Now the answer is those terminology. The option A, speculate, collaborate, learn, is the right answer because it wants to make it clear that we are not planning, we are speculating, which means it has a more chances and variability. And then we execute. So rather than execute, we collaborate together and get things done, and then we learn from it. So it's more like inspect and adapt only, but that's the terminology is used in the adaptive software development. So these kind of little bit of terminology should you should be aware of. Yeah. Again, you follow the agile material from PMI, the preparation, you will get this easily, else you do little research or be ready for few questions going wrong, not many. Question number 50. A stakeholder asks an agile practitioner about the difference between uncertainty and ambiguity in the context of VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous word. Yeah, ambiguity word. How would you, the agile practitioner, respond? So in a simple word, since the agile is all about dealing the VUCA state as a terminology, it may come as a match the pair question also. You need to understand what is the meaning of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. If you have that understanding, easy to pick up. Yeah. So uncertainty refers to the unclear cause and effect relationship, while ambiguity involves a lack of clarity on information or interpretation. Yeah, so hopefully you get the answer directly. And uncertainty involves a lack of clarity in communication, and ambiguity refers to fluctuating. Fluctuating thing is not. So you get this is the answer because it is uncertain. You don't know what will happen when you do this. Yeah, and you can't see things clearly. That's a ambiguity. It's like you don't have a clear information and interpretation of it. So that way, if you understand all the four terminology, you can get the answer easily. So you can check the details in your Google or in your agile material which you get from PMI. So this way, I cover the task 2 of your exam content outline. I covered as much as possible elements out of it. It's a little bit big task. So since the PMI is saying that they will give 28% weightage to this particular mindset domain, yeah, we have a 120 questions. So you can expect 30 to 35 questions coming from the whole domain. Now, out of that, I suspect you may get 5 to 10 questions coming from Embrace Agile Mindset. So if you get these concepts right, yeah, each and every element of it, there is a probability of getting 5 to 10 questions right for your PMI-ACP exam. If you want to get more details, get a more assistance in getting your PMI-ACP exam faster, you can connect with us. We have our own live virtual program to support your PMI-ACP preparation.